Before you touch your phone this morning, before the world tells you who to be, let me ask you one question. If nothing changes in your habits, your thoughts, your discipline, where exactly will your life be 1 year from now? Most people wait for motivation, the discipline created. You are not tired because you do too much. You are tired because you do too little of what gives you strength. So the real question is not, can your life change? The question is, are you finally ready to take responsibility for it? If you watch this every day, not for entertainment, but for alignment, you will begin to see clearly not how to escape life, but how to master it. Stay with this message, apply its wisdom daily, and over time, you will not only change your circumstances, you will become the kind of person for whom a powerful life is inevitable. 1. Discipline is greater than motivation. Most people believe that life changes when motivation strikes. They wait for the surge of energy, the spark of inspiration, the sudden wave of excitement to lift them out of inertia. But motivation is fleeting. It is a candle flame in the wind. Some days it burns bright, other days it flickers and dies. If you wait for it to guide your life, you will live a life dictated by chance. You will rise when motivated and fall when it disappears. Discipline, however, does not depend on chance. Discipline is a quiet force. It does not shout. It does not demand applause. It exists in the choices you make when no one is watching. In the small acts repeated daily, in the commitment to yourself when everything within you resists. Discipline is the invisible muscle that shapes destiny. When you rise before the world demands it, when you push your body and mind beyond the craving for comfort, you are exercising discipline. When you sit in silence instead of scrolling endlessly, when you act instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you are practicing discipline. Motivation can ignite a fire. Discipline keeps it burning. The paradox is this: the more disciplined you become, the less you need motivation. You don't chase energy, energy follows you. You don't wait for inspiration, you create it in the rhythm of your actions. Discipline is a seed planted in the soil of consistency. Motivation is the wind that may or may not arrive. Ask yourself, what are the moments in your life where you surrender to feeling rather than choosing what must be done? Those moments accumulate. They determine the weight of regret or the strength of your character. Each small act of self-control compounds. Each decision to do what is hard, what is necessary, what aligns with your highest self, strengthens a foundation no storm can destroy. Discipline is greater than motivation because motivation can leave you, but discipline stays. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a covenant with yourself. It is the quiet force that, over time, shapes a life of power, resilience, and mastery. And as discipline grows within you, it reveals something even more profound. The mornings you win are the mornings that decide your life. 2. Your morning decides your life. There is a sacred hour, a silent window that precedes the demands of the day. Before the chaos begins, before the noise of the world reaches you, your morning is a mirror of your inner state. How you greet this hour determines the tone of your entire existence. Most people rise in reaction. They rise to respond to messages, emails, obligations. They rise half awake, pulled by external forces, carried along by inertia. But there is another way to rise. There is a way to claim the first moments of your day and shape them with conscious intent. Your morning is not just time, it is a declaration. When you move with intention before the world demands it, you are telling yourself, I am the master of my day. I am the architect of my life. The habits you cultivate in these early hours, the quiet meditation, the disciplined exercise, the thoughtful reflection, set the current that will carry you through hours of challenge and opportunity. Even small choices matter. Drinking water, moving your body, sitting in silence, breathing consciously. These acts anchor you. They remind your mind and body that you are awake, not just physically awake, but consciously, powerfully, deliberately awake. The tone you set in the first hour carries the weight of the entire day. Consider this: a single morning repeated daily can transform you. A single hour of deliberate action repeated without fail compounds into mastery over time. The person you become is not built in grand gestures alone, but in the quiet, repeated victories of morning discipline. Your morning is a battlefield. The enemy is distraction, comfort, the seduction of sleep, of scrolling, of hesitation. If you win here, you are prepared for everything else. If you surrender here, the day surrenders you, and when you understand the power of the morning, something else becomes clear. Your attention is more valuable than any possession you will ever hold. Where you place it determines the quality of your life. 3. Attention is your most valuable currency. Every day, countless forces compete for your attention. Screens, notifications, voices, obligations. They demand your energy, fragment your focus, scatter your mind. Your attention is not renewable in the way time is. Once it is spent, it is gone. And the quality of your life is determined by what receives this finite resource. Attention shapes reality. What you focus on grows. What you neglect withers. If you give your attention to fear, doubt, and distraction, these forces become stronger. If you give your attention to mastery, clarity, and growth, these qualities deepen. The mind is like a garden. Attention is the water you pour into it. You can water weeds and soon they dominate. Or you can water seeds of potential, discipline, and wisdom, and they will grow tall and strong. Each moment of focus is an investment. Each choice to engage mindfully compounds over time into skill, clarity, and power. Attention also shapes identity. Where your focus goes, your habits follow. Your habits become your character. Your character becomes your destiny. Every small choice of what you allow into your awareness is a building block of the person you are becoming. To guard your attention is to guard your life. To choose where it flows is to choose who you are. To cultivate the ability to focus deeply, without distraction, is to wield power few even recognize exists. The world offers endless temptations to scatter your attention, yet the most profound victories are won in stillness, in deliberate focus, in the conscious decision to engage with what matters most. The question is, will you let your attention be stolen, or will you become the master of your inner domain? Once you realize the truth of this, you begin to see the invisible threads of your life, threads that connect every thought, every action, every moment of awareness into a tapestry of mastery. And as you learn to value your attention above all else, you will discover the next secret. Comfort is not your friend. It is the silent thief of potential, and it waits for you in every moment you choose ease over growth. 4. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Humans are creatures of habit. We crave warmth, ease, and predictability. Comfort seduces us with its gentle whispers. It tells us rest, wait, stay where you are. It masks itself as safety. It masks itself as peace. But comfort is a subtle trap. It is a velvet chain that holds you in place, silent and invisible, while life passes by. Growth, true growth, does not reside in comfort. Growth lives on the edge of discomfort. It thrives in the tension between what is familiar and what is possible. Every meaningful transformation, every breakthrough in body, mind, and spirit requires you to move beyond ease, to step into resistance, to endure what the present moment tells you is unnecessary or difficult. The paradox is that discomfort is not punishment, it is guidance. It is a teacher that asks you to rise beyond the small self, beyond the cravings, beyond the illusions of safety. When your body trembles with effort, when your mind resists discipline, when your spirit asks why you push further, these are the signs that growth is happening. These are signals that you are alive, yet most people flee. They retreat to the familiar. They rationalize, they delay, they distract. They mistake comfort for progress. But comfort erodes potential. It slowly dissolves your strength, your clarity, your courage. Every moment spent choosing ease over challenge is a moment where your higher self waits for you, unacknowledged. To move beyond comfort is not a single heroic act. It is a daily commitment. It is in choosing the difficult conversation over silence, the hard workout over indulgence, the disciplined practice over distraction. Each small act of voluntary discomfort builds resilience. Each time you choose what is hard, you carve new capacity within yourself. This is the work that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Ordinary life is cushioned. Extraordinary life is forged in resistance. The world will not gently offer you transformation. It will not wait for your comfort to end. Transformation demands discomfort. It demands persistence. It demands courage to face the unknown and walk toward it steadily. And when you truly embrace this principle, something profound emerges. Time is no longer your enemy. It becomes your ally. The seconds and minutes you have are not to be squandered in ease, but to be harnessed in pursuit of clarity, purpose, and mastery. 5. You don't lack time, you lack clarity. Many people look at their calendars and their endless to-do lists and feel the crushing weight of life slipping away. I don't have time, they whisper. I am too busy. I am overwhelmed. I cannot keep up. The truth, however, is not a scarcity of time. Time flows equally for all. It is not the enemy. The enemy is clarity, or rather the absence of it. Without clarity, every choice becomes a distraction. Every action becomes a small surrender to chaos. The mind flutters from one task to another, like a moth around flickering lights, never landing, never creating, never advancing. But when clarity enters, time bends in your favor. Decisions become sharp, actions become intentional, priorities become aligned. Clarity is the lens that cuts through noise. It distinguishes what matters from what does not. It reveals the path through confusion. When you know what is essential, every minute gains weight. Every action gains purpose. Time ceases to be a burden because you are no longer scattering it. You are investing it. The challenge is that clarity is not given. It must be earned. It is cultivated in quiet reflection, in the practice of asking yourself difficult questions. What is truly important? What aligns with my highest self? What will matter 1 year from now, 10 years from now? What habits am I nurturing, and which ones are stealing my potential? Once you find clarity, you begin to see the hidden patterns of life. You notice where energy is wasted, where attention is fragmented, where effort is misaligned. And when these illusions fall away, action becomes effortless, not easy, but precise. Each move is intentional, each step purposeful, each choice aligned with the life you are building. Clarity also brings freedom. The more you understand what deserves your attention, the less power distractions hold over you. You no longer flail in reaction. You no longer allow external forces to dictate your trajectory. Clarity is the compass that allows you to navigate the storm of life without losing yourself. And as clarity sharpens your perception, you begin to understand something even deeper. Your body is the gateway to the mind. If your body is neglected, your mind will wander. If your body is trained, disciplined, and aligned, your mind becomes a force capable of focus, insight, and extraordinary creation. 6. The body is the gateway to the mind. The body is not merely a vessel. It is the foundation upon which consciousness, focus, and willpower are built. Every thought, every choice, every moment of presence is anchored in the physical state of your body. Neglect the body, and the mind wanders. Strengthen the body, and the mind follows. The body remembers. It remembers habits, conditioning, posture, tension. When the body is weak, scattered, or ignored, the mind is restless, distracted, and limited. But when the body is trained, disciplined, and cared for, the mind gains clarity, focus, and endurance. Strength in the physical form translates into strength in thought, courage in decision, and resilience in challenge. Consider the simplicity of this truth. The way you move, the way you breathe, the way you carry yourself dictates the quality of your inner life. The posture you adopt is not mere appearance. It signals to the mind the degree of readiness, alertness, and presence. Breathing is not merely oxygen exchange. It is a tool to regulate emotion, focus thought, and steady the nervous system. Training the body is not an act of vanity. It is a practice of self-mastery. Each disciplined movement reinforces your ability to endure discomfort. Each repetition strengthens patience and resilience. Each controlled breath sharpens awareness. The body becomes a mirror, reflecting the state of the mind and the depth of your discipline. Neglect the body, and the mind becomes a forest overrun by weeds. Nurture the body, and the mind becomes a temple. The connection is inseparable. To ignore physical training is to limit mental capacity, emotional stability, and spiritual growth. To engage in disciplined practice is to awaken the full spectrum of human potential. And as the body strengthens, something subtle but powerful occurs. The mind begins to settle. C. Clarity emerges. Focus becomes easier. The once chaotic inner world becomes a terrain of precision and possibility. From here, small daily actions accumulate into momentum. Momentum that will carry you through challenges, forge resilience, and create unstoppable energy to achieve what once seemed impossible. 7. Small daily actions create unstoppable momentum. Life is not built in a day. The grand achievements you admire in others are not born from a single heroic moment. They are the product of countless small actions, repeated without recognition, without applause, without immediate reward. Each action alone may seem insignificant. One page written, one step taken, one moment of discipline, tiny, almost invisible. Yet these small actions accumulate like droplets of water shaping a river, carving canyons, creating unstoppable momentum over time. Most people underestimate the power of consistency. They wait for a surge of inspiration, a sudden breakthrough, a dramatic moment to carry them forward. They ignore the slow, quiet work that actually moves life. But momentum is a silent force. It does not demand attention. It grows beneath the surface, unseen, until one day it becomes impossible to stop. The key is patience. The key is persistence. The key is returning to the task again and again, even when results are invisible. The discipline of repetition builds more than skill. It builds character. It transforms doubt into confidence, weakness into strength, hesitation into decisiveness. Consider this: a single daily act, repeated for 1 week, then for 1 month, then for 1 year, compounds into power. The small things, when done without fail, shape identity. They form habits. Habits form character. Character forms destiny. Momentum is deceptive. At first, it seems absent. Progress feels slow, imperceptible. Yet each day, the river of effort flows quietly, unstoppable. It begins to carry everything else in its path. The decisions you make, the energy you generate, the clarity you cultivate. And when momentum grows, it reveals something profound. Your environment has the power to amplify or erode it. Surroundings are not neutral. They either accelerate your progress or drain it. The choices you make about who, what, and where you engage with daily are more powerful than most people realize. 8. Your environment shapes your behavior. Look around you. Every object, every person, every sound, every light carries influence. Environment is not just a backdrop. It is a force that molds you silently, subtly, continuously. The places you occupy, the people you converse with, the energy you absorb, they shape your thoughts, your emotions, your habits. Most people underestimate this power. They blame themselves for distractions, for fatigue, for lack of focus. Yet often, the true culprit is the environment in which they allow themselves to exist. Chaos produces chaos. Neglect breeds neglect. Distraction invites distraction. To shape behavior, first shape surroundings. Curate your space. Choose companions carefully. Limit exposure to noise that does not serve your higher purpose. The body and mind respond to cues. If your environment encourages lethargy, doubt, and procrastination, your inner state will reflect it. If your environment encourages clarity, discipline, and growth, your inner state will reflect that as well. Environment is more than physical space. It includes digital space, mental space, and emotional space. What you allow into these domains carries energy. Information is energy. Words are energy. Attention is energy. Protect it, guard it. Place yourself in environments that amplify focus, that demand presence, that support growth. The transformation begins when you recognize that external forces are not powerless. They are reflections of what you tolerate. Change the surroundings that no longer serve you, and you subtly change the trajectory of your actions, your energy, your life. Yet even a cultivated environment is not enough. without one companion skill, the ability to endure, to see value, to embrace challenge without avoidance. Comfort may lurk here as well. The world will tempt you to relax, to settle, to soften effort, to compromise. This is where true resilience begins. 9. Suffering becomes strength when understood. Suffering is unavoidable. Pain, loss, difficulty, resistance, these are constants of life. Yet few understand its true purpose. Most resist suffering. Most fight it, deny it, or try to escape it. They see suffering as a thief, an enemy, an interruption. But suffering, when embraced with awareness, becomes the forge of strength. The moment of pain is not a curse, it is a teacher. The tension, the struggle, the discomfort you feel contains a message, a lesson, a call to rise. To ignore it is to remain small. To endure it without reflection is to pass through life half-formed. But to meet suffering with presence, to observe it without fleeing, to allow it to teach, this is the way strength is born. Suffering trains the mind, cultivates patience, and clarifies priorities. It exposes weakness, but it also reveals hidden reserves. The fire of adversity purifies resolve, hones resilience, and sharpens insight. Every difficulty faced consciously adds a layer of depth to your character, an unshakable foundation that cannot be removed by external chaos. Those who run from suffering may find temporary comfort, but it is hollow. Those who embrace it and extract meaning discover power. They understand that life's trials are not punishments, but instruments for mastery. Pain is a tool when held with awareness. Struggle is a mirror, reflecting what is unrefined within. The transformative moment comes when suffering ceases to be random, when it is seen as intentional opportunity. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone. Each setback becomes a lesson. Each discomfort becomes fuel. And when this perspective is embodied, fear loses its power, doubt loses its grip, and resilience becomes effortless. And once suffering is understood, it opens the doorway to a principle that binds all mastery: silence. In stillness, the lessons become clear, and the mind, once restless, finds its clarity. 10. Silence reveals truth. Silence is not emptiness. It is not a void. It is not a pause between the noise of life. Silence is the most profound teacher, the clearest mirror, the deepest revelation. Yet few truly encounter it. Most flee into distraction, chatter, or busyness, mistaking noise for productivity, motion for progress. In silence, the mind is still. In stillness, the heart speaks. In quiet, truth emerges. Not the truth others tell you, not the truth you wish to hear, but the reality of who you are, what you value, and where you have hidden from yourself. In silence, all illusions are stripped away. The masks you wear, the excuses you cling to, the justifications for compromise, everything surfaces. When the mind is not bombarded by voices, images, and obligations, the subtle patterns of life become visible. You begin to see cause and effect. You notice which habits empower and which habits strain. You perceive the roots of fear, the shadows of doubt, and the corridors of desire that pull you silently off course. Silence is uncomfortable. It forces confrontation. It demands honesty. And this is why most avoid it. But if you can endure it, if you can sit with yourself without distraction, without avoidance, without escape, you will discover something extraordinary. Clarity is not given, it is revealed. Awareness is not acquired, it is remembered. The answers you have sought in noise are always present in quiet. The practice of silence transforms perception. You begin to notice subtle signs in life: the tone of a conversation, the energy of a room, the pull of your own attention. You learn to distinguish between fleeting impulses and enduring truths. In the stillness, the mind sharpens, the heart stabilizes, and presence becomes effortless. Silence also reveals hidden strength. When you stop clinging to constant input, when you stop seeking validation from the world, you recognize your own capacity. Your choices become deliberate. Your actions gain weight. Your understanding deepens. Every decision, every moment becomes infused with intention. Yet even in silence, one must act. Revelation is not transformation. Insight without action is a still pond. beautiful to gaze upon, but stagnant. The next step, the true test of wisdom, is the discipline of translating inner clarity into consistent external action. 11. Self-respect is built through keeping promises to yourself. The deepest respect a human being can cultivate is the respect that arises from self-commitment. Nothing in the world teaches discipline, character, and power more than keeping the promises you make to yourself. Most people promise grand things. I will change my life. I will start tomorrow. I will be disciplined. Yet these promises remain abstract, untested, and easily broken. Real work lies in honoring the small, silent commitments made daily. The moment you say you will rise early and do it, the decision to act even when unmotivated, the choice to uphold integrity in private. Self-respect grows in these quiet victories. Each promise kept strengthens identity, each integrity maintained builds invisible muscles of character. The mind learns that it can be trusted. The heart learns that it is worthy. The soul learns that it has the authority to direct its own path. Breaking a promise even once is a small fracture in this structure. Repeating it compounds the fracture. Keeping promises, even small ones, strengthens the foundation of every action, every relationship, every aspiration. The power of self-respect is subtle yet transformative. It is not displayed in words or gestures, but in presence, in energy, in the quiet certainty of being aligned with oneself. Others may not notice, society may not reward it, but internally, the alignment creates a reservoir of power, focus, and influence that cannot be taken away. Self-respect also creates resistance to temptation. When the inner covenant is strong, the pull of comfort, distraction, or avoidance weakens. You do not act out of fleeting desire, but out of conscious choice. You move with the confidence of someone who knows their own word is stronger than circumstance. Every promise kept, no matter how small, compounds over time. Waking early, meditating, exercising, speaking truth, completing tasks when it is inconvenient, these become the bricks of identity. The accumulation of these small victories eventually becomes unstoppable. Momentum, once subtle, turns into a tidal wave of self-mastery, and as self-respect grows, it reveals a subtle but critical truth. Your repeated choices, your disciplined practice, your quiet commitments, they shape not just the self, but the environment around you. The internal order you cultivate radiates outward, influencing surroundings, interactions, and opportunities. The bridge to the next principle emerges here. As you honor your promises, you begin to notice patterns in your thoughts, your actions, your habits. You begin to understand the rehearsal of the mind, the practice of the self, and the ways in which repetition creates reality. 12. You become what you repeatedly practice. Every thought you entertain, every habit you cultivate, every small action you repeat quietly in the background, these are the invisible architects of your life. The mind, like water, takes the shape of its container. The body, like clay, takes the shape of repeated practice. What you do once is temporary. What you do repeatedly, day after day, becomes who you are. Many chase grand gestures. They hope one breakthrough, one effort, one act of inspiration will transform them. But life does not operate in sudden eruptions. Transformation is forged in repetition, in the slow accumulation of deliberate acts. Writing one page each day trains the mind to think clearly. Lifting one weight each day trains the body to endure. Breathing with awareness each morning trains the spirit to remain present. Repetition is not mechanical, it is alive. With each repetition, insight deepens, awareness sharpens, the mind learns patterns, the body gains resilience, the spirit strengthens its connection to purpose. Every day, the choices you repeat quietly sculpt identity. The danger is in neglecting the small. A skipped meditation, a missed reflection, a moment's surrender to distraction, these may seem trivial. Yet they are seeds of erosion. Momentum slows, character weakens. The self you aspire to build loses integrity. The key is vigilance, attention to the seemingly insignificant. For it is in these unnoticed moments that life is truly formed. Practice also teaches patience. Progress is rarely linear. The mind resists, the body fatigues, the heart doubts, but the discipline of returning to practice again and again builds an inner rhythm that cannot be disturbed. D. By external chaos. You become impervious to fleeting challenges because your identity is rooted in repeated truth. Consider the mind itself. Thoughts are rehearsals. Each time you focus, you rehearse clarity. Each time you surrender to distraction, you rehearse weakness. Actions are performances. What you do is the demonstration of what you have trained yourself to believe, to value, to embody. Practice is the bridge between intention and reality, between aspiration and mastery. And as the power of repeated practice solidifies, a subtle revelation emerges. Not all repetition is equal. The intention behind the act, the awareness with which it is performed, the alignment with higher purpose, all determine the strength of the transformation. Repetition without consciousness is hollow. Repetition with presence becomes unstoppable. The cliffhanger emerges naturally. Once you understand that practice shapes reality, you begin to notice the subtle influence of ego, how it misleads, distracts, and resists. Understanding this is the next doorway to wisdom. 13. Ego seeks validation. Wisdom seeks alignment. Ego is clever. It is persuasive. It tells you that your worth is determined by recognition, by applause, by comparison. Ego seeks validation from the world, constantly measuring, judging, and competing. It demands attention, rewards, and approval. It thrives on noise and distraction. It whispers that the self is not enough, that achievement is proof, that identity must be constructed externally. Wisdom, in contrast, seeks nothing from the world. Wisdom does not look outward for validation. Wisdom looks inward for alignment. It asks, does this action honor my values? Does this thought cultivate clarity? Does this choice strengthen my purpose? Ego distracts. Wisdom focuses. Ego fears judgment. Wisdom observes reality without attachment. Ego divides. Wisdom unites. The battle between ego and wisdom is subtle, ongoing, and relentless. Every day presents tests, often disguised as opportunities or challenges. The desire for recognition pulls like a tide, coaxing you to perform, to compare, to impress. The desire for alignment whispers, be still, observe, act with intention. One leads to exhaustion, the other to mastery. One builds illusion, the other builds reality. Most never notice the pull. They mistake ego for ambition, craving for inspiration, performance for progress. Yet when ego dominates, energy is wasted on shadows. Time is surrendered to appearances. Attention fractures. Clarity dissolves. Discomfort is avoided rather than embraced. The self becomes fragile, dependent on external measures, constantly anxious, always seeking. Wisdom demands courage. It demands patience. It demands the willingness to sit in silence, to endure discomfort, to resist external applause. Wisdom requires the discipline to act even when no one is watching, to choose alignment over recognition, to cultivate presence over approval. It asks you to accept that the world may not notice, may not understand, and may not reward. And yet, this is where the greatest freedom lies. When alignment guides action, every movement is deliberate. Every choice is infused with clarity. Every effort compounds into unseen power. Ego fades into background noise. The mind and body act as one. The soul recognizes itself. Life ceases to be a series of distractions and becomes a field of mastery cultivated with care, attention, and consciousness. The subtle revelation emerges. The more wisdom anchors action, the more effortless life becomes. Challenges no longer derail. Discomfort no longer threatens. Validation is not needed. Each step is measured, deliberate, grounded. This is not a life of ease, but a life of presence, of control, of unstoppable forward motion. And as wisdom anchors every choice, the mind and body begin to integrate what has been practiced, what has been endured, what has been disciplined. Small daily actions, cultivated environment, focus of attention, and endurance of suffering, and repeated practice all converge into a force that shapes reality. The next principle becomes inevitable. Simplicity, not complexity, is the terrain where mastery thrives. 14. A strong life is simple, not easy. Strength is not found in complexity. Power is not discovered in the chaos of overcomplication. A strong life is deceptively simple. It requires few things, done with precision, consistency, and unwavering attention. Simplicity is not comfort. Simplicity is clarity, focus, and alignment with what matters most. Yet most people mistake complexity for progress. They surround themselves with endless tasks, distractions, and obligations, believing that busyness equals achievement, believing that difficulty equates to value. A strong life is simple in structure, yet profound in discipline. It is built on principles, not whims, on habits, not inspiration, on presence, not performance. Simplicity allows energy to flow. It channels attention, eliminates noise, and magnifies impact. When you strip away unnecessary complexity, what remains is clarity, power, and freedom. The danger is in seeking ease within simplicity. Many desire a life that is both simple and effortless. But simplicity does not mean comfort. It means alignment. It means prioritizing the essential, embracing the difficult, and releasing what does not serve growth. Simplicity is the lens through which you see the contours of reality without distortion, without distraction. In simplicity, you discover the rhythm of your own life. You recognize what actions produce results. You see which habits compound and which energy drains. You learn to let go of what does not matter, and in doing so, you preserve strength for what truly shapes destiny. The clutter of complexity is replaced with the clarity of intention. Decisions are no longer scattered, they are precise. Time is no longer fragmented, it is a tool. Energy is no longer wasted, it is concentrated. Simplicity also builds resilience. When life becomes challenging, when the external world tests your patience, when suffering arrives without warning, simplicity provides a foundation. It allows the mind to remain undistracted. It allows the body to act efficiently. It allows the spirit to remain anchored. Complexity collapses under pressure. Simplicity thrives. Yet simplicity alone is not enough. The alignment it produces must be reinforced through mastery over fundamentals. This requires control, discipline, and presence in the most basic elements of existence. One must master breath, posture, and response, for they are the conduits through which life's energy flows. 15. Control what you can. Breath, posture, response. The foundation of strength, focus, and resilience begins with control over the self. There are forces in life you cannot influence. The chaos of the world, the actions of others, the unexpected storms that arrive without warning. Yet there are forces you can master. The first, the most immediate and most powerful are breath, posture, and response. Breath is the bridge between mind and body. It regulates energy, anchors attention, and stabilizes emotion. A conscious breath is not merely air moving in and out. It is presence. It is clarity. It is authority over the state of being. With breath comes the ability to slow the mind, to center attention, to recover from distraction and stress. The breath becomes the rhythm of self-mastery. Posture is equally powerful. How you hold yourself signals not only to others, but to yourself the state of your mind. A slouched posture invites doubt, weakness, and fatigue. A straight, deliberate posture signals strength, presence, and readiness. Posture is the physical embodiment of intention. It conditions the body to act, the mind to focus, and the spirit to remain undisturbed by chaos. Response is the final piece. The world will challenge you. People will act unpredictably. Circumstances will twist and turn without warning. The power lies not in controlling what happens, but in controlling how you respond. A measured, conscious response transforms chaos into opportunity. Reaction rooted in emotion, ego, or habit leads to loss of power. Response rooted in awareness, patience, and alignment builds strength that endures beyond circumstance. Mastering breath, posture, and response is not instantaneous. It requires practice, attention, and repetition. Each moment where you notice your breath, correct your stance, and choose your response over instinct, you reinforce a pattern of presence and power. These small moments accumulate into unshakable resilience. The subtle truth is this: when you control the aspects you can, breath, posture, response, the external world loses its ability to destabilize you. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You become the calm at the center of every storm, the unmoving pillar in a sea of chaos. And when this control is internalized, it enables the next essential principle: consistent effort. Over time surpasses bursts of intensity. The quiet power of steady action builds more than sporadic force ever can. 16. Consistency beats intensity. Many are seduced by flashes of energy, bursts of effort, or sudden inspiration. They train for one day with extraordinary intensity, pursue a project feverishly for a week, or awaken with fervor to change a habit overnight. But the world does not reward intensity alone. The true measure of transformation lies in consistency, the quiet, steady return to practice, the unbroken dedication to effort, the persistent alignment of action with intention. Consistency is not flashy. It does not produce immediate gratification. It does not demand recognition. Yet it is the invisible architect of all mastery. Small acts performed faithfully compound over time. One disciplined breath each morning, one deliberate posture held daily, one conscious response to life's challenges. Each repetition may seem insignificant, yet it accumulates unseen, forming a foundation stronger than any sudden surge of effort. The mind resists this truth. It seeks excitement, novelty, and drama. It whispers, "Do something extraordinary today. Make this moment heroic." But heroism is fleeting. Discipline is eternal. The one who chooses the ordinary action performed consistently builds unstoppable momentum. Consistency also shapes identity. Each repeated action reinforces the self you are becoming. Neglect the small actions and identity fractures. Perform them faithfully, and the self becomes resilient, steady, and unshakable. The body, mind, and spirit align when small actions are honored daily. The habits of thought, motion, and intention grow into a structure so formidable that external events struggle to disturb it. Consistency builds trust, first within yourself, then in life itself. The more faithfully you return to deliberate practice, the more the world responds. Opportunities align, energy flows, clarity deepens. Momentum, subtle at first, grows into a force that cannot be resisted. Yet consistency is not blind repetition. It is conscious repetition, guided by awareness. Each act is performed with presence, intention, and alignment. Without his repetition becomes rote, hollow, and powerless. The steady effort is the vessel, awareness is the force that fills it with transformation. And the cliffhanger emerges naturally. Once consistency becomes the rhythm of life, the next challenge is to guard it. Distractions will come, chaos will try to steal attention. The next principle emerges as a shield, protection of your focus and energy from the subtle erosion of modern life. 17. Protect your energy at all costs. Energy is the currency of mastery. Time can be recovered, attention can be refocused, opportunities can be regained, but energy, once dissipated, is gone. It is the foundation of every act of clarity, discipline, and growth. Protect it, or life will subtly, relentlessly drain it away. The sources of energy depletion are everywhere. Noise, distraction, conflict, unnecessary interaction, and overindulgence all act as silent thieves. Most fail to notice because the drain is gradual, almost imperceptible, yet without action, the mind weakens, the body tires, and the spirit softens. Even discipline falters when energy is scattered. Protection begins with boundaries. Clear, deliberate limits on what is allowed into your mind, body, and surroundings. Not everything deserves attention. Not every request requires response. Not every influence is worthy of integration. Energy is finite, treat it as sacred. The next step is prioritization. Choose deliberately what deserves your effort. Focus on what moves you closer to mastery. Let go of what distracts. Let go of habits, routines, and relationships that drain without return. The strength to say no becomes as important as the ability to say yes. Energy is also protected through awareness of the internal world. Thoughts, emotions, and impulses consume energy as much as external stimuli. Unchecked fear, doubt, and regret silently erode vitality. Guard attention within as fiercely as you guard attention without. Breathe deliberately. Stand with posture of strength. Respond with presence. These are the shields that preserve energy for what truly matters. Protecting energy is not selfishness, it is strategy. It is the cultivation of a vessel capable of extraordinary performance. When energy is preserved, clarity remains sharp, decisions remain precise, and momentum continues unbroken. When it is wasted, the world overwhelms, habits falter, and potential dissipates into mediocrity. The subtle realization emerges. Energy is not created by struggle or resistance alone. It is amplified by alignment, by simplicity, by discipline, and by conscious choice. When these forces converge, protection is automatic. The mind becomes a fortress, the body a reservoir, the spirit a flame that cannot be extinguished, and the cliffhanger naturally leads forward. Energy preserved enables the final ultimate force of transformation, mastery of attention, the ability to shape reality with conscious presence and deliberate focus. 18. Mastery is living intentionally. Every moment, mastery is not a destination. It is not a title earned, a prize collected, or a moment celebrated. Mastery is the art of living intentionally in every instant, of aligning thought, action, and awareness with a purpose that transcends fleeting desire. It is the convergence of all practice, all discipline, all patience, all endurance, all clarity, and all energy into a seamless, conscious flow. To master life is to see that every moment contains choice, every breath contains direction, every posture contains meaning, every response carries consequence. Nothing is neutral. Everything shapes identity, destiny, and influence. Yet mastery is subtle. It does not announce itself with fireworks or applause. It whispers quietly through precision, presence, and consistency. Intentional living begins with awareness. To live intentionally, you must see clearly, you must perceive patterns beneath the noise, recognize the currents beneath appearances, and discern what truly serves purpose. From what merely distracts. The mind, once quieted, reveals these patterns. The breath, once conscious, anchors them. The body, once disciplined, embodies them. Mastery demands patience. Transformation is gradual. It emerges not in moments of passion, but in decades of deliberate choice. Small actions, repeated faithfully, compounded over years, produce outcomes so profound they appear almost miraculous in hindsight. Each habit, each decision, each reflection is a brick in the foundation of mastery. One does not wake fully masterful. Mastery is sculpted slowly, carefully, intentionally. But awareness alone is not mastery. Action must follow insight. Every realization, every understanding, every perception is meaningless unless it is translated into deliberate motion, consistent effort, and disciplined response. Knowledge without application is like a river that never reaches the sea. It exists, but it does not nourish or transform. Mastery is the union of insight and action, the alignment of mind, body, and environment. Mastery also requires courage. To live intentionally, you must face fear without avoidance, discomfort without flinching, and uncertainty without despair. The world will test, challenge, and resist. External circumstances will challenge alignment. Internal patterns will resist change. Yet mastery is the discipline to act in accordance with purpose, despite these pressures, to maintain clarity even in turbulence, to honor truth even when it is inconvenient. Every act becomes an expression of intention. Each choice, whether large or small, is a reflection of values and alignment. Energy is preserved, focused, and applied with precision. Habits are not broken and remade haphazardly, but cultivated methodically, so that automatic behavior supports purpose rather than undermines it. The mind, once scattered, becomes centered. The body, once fatigued, becomes resilient. The spirit, once restless, becomes unwavering. Mastery is also relational. It is not isolation, but connection with life as it is. To master life is to harmonize with circumstance, not to dominate it. It is to influence the environment through presence, not through force. It is to live in such clarity that others feel stability, direction, and calmness simply through proximity. Yet mastery is private as well as public. It is forged in solitude, in reflection, in breath, posture, and disciplined response. The outer world reflects what has been cultivated inwardly. Suffering, once endured, becomes fuel. Momentum, once built, carries effortlessly. Consistency, once honored, reinforces identity. Energy, once protected, amplifies capacity. Each of these elements converges in mastery, producing not arrogance, but quiet authority. Not show, but substance. Not noise, but clarity. Living intentionally also reveals impermanence. Every moment is finite, every opportunity fleeting. Mastery recognizes this truth without fear, without attachment, and acts with urgency tempered by praise. NCE. The intentional mind does not procrastinate. It does not waste energy on illusion. It aligns fully with reality, embracing what can be controlled, observing what cannot, and acting decisively where influence exists. Mastery is not stagnant, it evolves. Awareness deepens, practices refine, energy becomes more focused, intentionality becomes more effortless. The individual who masters life does not seek finality. Mastery is the ongoing practice of presence, clarity, and purpose. It is living as though every moment contains the entire world, yet responding with the simplicity, precision, and patience of someone who understands the currents beneath. The greatest secret of mastery is that it is accessible to anyone who chooses presence over distraction, consistency over intensity, alignment over approval, and awareness over automaticity. It does not require talent, wealth, or status. It requires conscious choice in every moment, discipline in every act, and courage in every encounter. And mastery, in its final form, produces freedom. Freedom from external chaos. Freedom from ego's endless demand. Freedom from unconscious patterns. Freedom from the pull of unexamined impulses. The mind becomes clear, the body becomes capable. The spirit becomes unshakable. Life, once scattered and reactive, becomes coherent, deliberate, and infused with purpose. Mastery also reconnects the individual to wisdom passed down through centuries, that the smallest actions, repeated consciously, compounded over time, shape reality more than the grandest gestures. That energy, once protected and aligned, becomes unstoppable. That clarity, once cultivated in silence, becomes a compass for every choice. That intentionality, once embodied, transforms ordinary life into extraordinary expression. At its heart, mastery is living awake. To live intentionally is to notice fully, act deliberately, preserve energy, endure suffering, and cultivate the quiet, steady power that compounds silently beneath the surface of daily life. Every breath, every posture, every response, every habit becomes sacred because each one is an opportunity to embody wisdom and transform reality. And the final cliffhanger of this journey emerges not as suspense, but as revelation. Mastery is not the end. It is the beginning of a life fully owned, fully lived, fully illuminated. Every moment is a chance to exercise intentionality. Every challenge is a chance to demonstrate alignment. Every quiet breath is a bridge to power that is both subtle and unstoppable. Mastery is not taught in books. It is not found in accolades. It is experienced in the stillness, in the repetition, in the alignment of body, mind, and spirit. It is the culmination of the principles we have explored: momentum, environment, suffering, silence, self-respect, repetition, ego, simplicity, control, consistency, energy, and now intentional living. All converge into a life that is disciplined yet free, structured yet alive, quiet yet powerful. To live intentionally is to live as a master, not in title, not in recognition, but in the alignment of every choice with truth, presence, and purpose. This is the path where small daily actions create monumental change, where energy fuels clarity, where wisdom guides action, and where life itself becomes the ultimate teacher. Every moment carries the potential for mastery. Every breath, posture, and response is a choice. Every act of intentionality compounds into identity, influence, and destiny. To choose consciously is to step into mastery. To step deliberately is to become unstoppable. To align fully is to live in the clarity of truth. And so, the journey comes full circle. The smallest action, repeated faithfully, in silence and awareness with preserved energy, disciplined body and focused mind, creates momentum. Momentum leads to mastery. Mastery leads to freedom. Freedom leads to presence. Presence leads to life, lived intentionally. Moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice, in the infinite unfolding of time and awareness. Life is not measured by the chaos that surrounds us, the applause we receive, or the distractions we endure. It is measured by the clarity, presence, and intentionality we bring to every moment. The small actions, repeated with discipline, the energy preserved, the mind mastered, the habits aligned, and the courage to act despite fear, they are the true architects of destiny. When silence reveals truth, when consistency outweighs bursts of effort, when simplicity guides choices, and when every breath, posture, and response is deliberate, life transforms from scattered existence into unstoppable momentum. Mastery is not an end, it is a living practice, a continuous unfolding of alignment, awareness, and purpose. To live intentionally with focus, integrity, and conscious action is to step fully into the power, freedom, and wisdom that have always been within reach. Every moment becomes an opportunity, every challenge a teacher, and every choice a step toward a life fully owned, fully lived, and fully illuminated. Return to this message daily, not to feel inspired, but to remember who you are becoming.